Hi everybody and welcome back to Lilly Code. Thank you so much for joining me here for day 91 of 100 days of code. I can hardly contain my excitement. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I'm going to have some tips and tricks for you at the end of all this of how you can approach 100 days of code yourself and what you might want to do differently, and just some tips and advice from my own experiences with it, which it's my second time around. This time I took a break in between, not really part of the rules, but it ended up happening, so it happened. But I'll just give you some general other tips and advice and bits of information that I would have liked to hear, so stay tuned for that. Please do like and subscribe if you like seeing my little old head every day on your screen. I really appreciate it, and just have yourselves a great old day. So let's get into this here now. So we're just continuing with where we left off yesterday, which was we were adding the footer. Yes, we were adding the footer to our GitHub Finder, which is just going to retrieve people's GitHubs and show them on the screen, so then we can go to their profile. So let's fire this up, and I'm really excited to see this second course. Brad said he's going to go through the basics again slightly, but he's also going to more focus on the more complex stuff. I want to see how he explains it. I want to see how well I think I might understand it as a newbie, because it's a far shorter course than Max's. It has all the relevant information, but I just don't know whether for my learning style, if I had not have already known Max's course and already done React, I just feel like I don't know if this would be clicking for me, so it's too early to judge. I've only done one out of the 3 courses. There's a lot more information to be covered in this course, so I'll hang tight and I'll reserve my final discussion and my own opinion. It's only my opinion, but hopefully it can help you guys. And I still definitely think Brad is a great teacher. It's worth doing. Comparing 2 phenomenal teachers head to head, it's not the best approach, maybe because they've both earned their status in the web development world. They both have great courses. I've done courses from both of them before and really, really enjoyed them. And it's not who's better, it's not. They're 2 different courses. But I want to be able to recommend one React course to somebody, to you, to everybody. And what course will that be? So it does come down to comparing them, unfortunately, because they're both great programmers and have very, very, very brilliant teaching styles and great courses out there. I'm just trying to be, look at it from all angles and come up with a decision. But if you have the time, do both of them. They're both great. You're going to get different things from both of them, and each people have different learning styles. So you might just fall like a duck to water to Brad's one and go, God, I love his humour. I love his style. I think Max is funnier, to be honest. I think Max is funnier, but his courses tend to be very, very, very long, which if you have the time, it's great because you're going to learn so much. But not everybody has 40 hours when they're working, when they're doing college, when they're doing other things in their life, So yeah, it depends on how much time you have. I think Brad's one is really, really, really applicable and a fantastic course. So anyway, let's go. So this is opening up here. I'll stop waffling because that's supposed to be part of like some sort of a review, But so just getting up the course here. Here we go. Okay. Have my lovely cup of barley cup. I'd recently discovered barley cup, and I love it. I'm trying to get off coffee because I need my brain to focus, not be overstimulated. And if you just leave your body and your brain alone, they can do phenomenal things. So barley cup it is, and it tastes like coffee. I still like coffee, but it's nice. Aha. Yeah. Okay. So cool. I'm just getting to where we were. Sorry about this, guys. Getting there. Here we go. Okay, so let's check. Under the main here, I don't know why. What is it? Just get rid of it. Okay, so we're going to add some classes to our main here. So we'll say class name. And we'll give it a class name, and these are all from the install we installed yesterday. So yeah, Tailwind CSS, which you just write the classes and you don't need to actually write the corresponding CSS. So we'll have container, which is very handy. It is handy. And MX auto, but I think it's very lazy as well. And then PX3 and PX3 and PB12. Maybe good to get off the ground, but I disagree. I think you'd want to be a seasoned coder that knows what these things mean before you start using shortcuts and stifling your own learning. Okay. So I'm going to create a few new pages here, and so a home and an about page. So in our source file here, we'll create a new folder and we will call this pages. Pages. Yeah. Don't know how I got a song out of that. Anyway, so then we'll have an about.jsx and a home.jsx. So we're just creating two pages here that we can navigate to, that we can show content on. They're just going to be new components. So the same as everything we've done before, but these are going to be a component that's representing a whole page. So that's why we're going to just do it like this. And RFCE, as in, when I say like this, I mean in its own pages folder. So we'll do RFCE and RFCE tab. And now let's try underscore RFCE. So you see with RFCE and tab, we get, and this is because I have an extension installed. The extension is called React Snippets. Just let me get the name for you here now. So there it is, ES7 React Redux React Native Snippets. Yeah. So that creates loads of different things for you. IMP is import, and you just tab, you write the shortcut and tab. So we know that one now, RFC, because we've been doing it a lot in Brad's courses. And again, Max would just have you type this out. Do you know what I mean? That's how I got so used to functions and arrow functions, because Max just kept on typing them out, and then I was like, oh yeah, I get this now. And it took a few chapters of Max's courses to finally not even think about it at all, to know exactly where the equals goes, exactly where the arrows goes. Whereas sometimes when you come back to it, you're like, and it's so basic, like everybody should know that. But when you think about how often you write functions when you're actually coding, you're thinking through your solution. You might be on one function for a while, at least I would be. So then when you come to your next one and your function's probably taking you all friggin' day and you're scratching your brain because you're like, oh, why isn't that doing what it's supposed to do? And then you go and do a new one and you're like, where does this equals go? So by repetitiveness and writing out these shortcuts and using the CSS, we are learning. I get that right now we're not focusing on those skills, we're focusing on React. So I need to keep that in mind and keep going. So I'm going to do underscore RFCE and enter. RFCE. Let's try that again. Underscore RFCE, enter. What about RFCE? It's not tab anyway. RFCE. Oh, for Genie Macrosweeney. I don't know why. Sometimes it works. So RFCE. Guys, I'm copy and pasting. I don't know. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't for me, and obviously it's me doing something wrong. Anybody that blames the code is having a laugh. I used to do that, but really only a bad salesman blames. Only a bad tradesman, blames his tools. The tools are just doing exactly what you're telling them to do. It is only you that's responsible for something going wrong, and by being patient and figuring it out and being kind with yourself, you'll get there in the end. But being like, oh, the code doesn't work, you won't achieve anything because you definitely did something wrong. The code can't do anything wrong. It's just code. You're the one giving it its instructions. So now we have a not found page. I'm sorry if that bursted some of your bubbles. I'm here to talk the truth to you guys. I'm here to encourage you, and in the long run it will really help thinking like that. Because, yeah, it's the truth. Or FCE. Right, I'm just going to paste again. Great. No, I'm just joking here. So I'll copy all of this and I'll paste this in here because that shortcut doesn't seem to like me no more. And this is going to be not found. So the name of your component, your function. So this is a functional component. We're giving the function a name. That's also the name of our component. So they must match. And then we have to export it so we can use it in other files. So I'll do that. So I'll say not found, copy, and put that down here as well, and save. Okay, great. So I'm just going to add some text in here, just to indicate that we are indeed on the not found page. So just for the moment I'll say H1 not found. Oh, okay, cool. And then about, we'll just say about and home. Abouty. Oh, I've been abouty and aroundy and aroundy and abouty. Sorry, I accidentally typed about with a Y. So I made a song. Okay, so now we have those pages created, we can add the routes. So I'll come back down here. I might just commit where we're at. So new terminal. And I will say I'll say git add everything, git commit message, and I will say, oh no, git add commit message, and the message will be adding pages to the project. Cool. So now I'll just leave that for the moment. That's grand. I've committed my changes and it should be pushing. And now I'm going to import these. So if I go to my app.js here, I can import these different pages. So first of all, I will import about from, and this will be from pages, and that should have a forward slash at the front, pages, and about with a capital A. And then I also want home. Like so, so perfect. And oh yeah, not found as well. So I'll duplicate this one more time and import not found Which really, if you just wait until you start coding down below, it will automatically import this for you. So that's what I would actually recommend, rather than writing this down. And if not, you have a little light bulb, you can click on it, a little yellow light bulb that appears, and by clicking on that you can see what the problem is, and oftentimes you can import your imports and it does it automatically for you. So then at that stage, if that didn't happen, that's when I'd go typing it out, but that's fine. You can do it either way, but the other way is just quicker if you let it auto import for you. So now we need router, route and routes. Router, routes and route to be brought in from browser router with React version with React Router DOM version 6. We use the routes as well instead of switch. So let's continue. Cool. So now within our main we're going to add these routes. So we just add a routes tag. This is for React Router DOM version 6, so perfect. Then we add a route tag, and we can just with a route, and we'll say path equals la home path, so just a / and then we say element. And if this was React Router DOM version 5, then it would be component, but in React Router DOM version 6 we say element. So that's perfect. That's all I've needed to know. Like, I was getting confused with component and element, but element is the updated version. So element, it's elemental, my dear Watson. And then we're going to add the path of home, and we can self-close that, so perfect. And then also self-close the route tag. And that should be alright. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. And we'll copy this down. So I'll change the second one to about. And I'll send them to the about page. And then also not found. And this should route to the not found component. Da 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 da. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, perfect. So then in here, element. Sorry, I just accidentally cut something there, so I went back. So not found. I was undoing and redoing changes and chopping and accidentally moving stuff. So then in here, I want not found again. And in here we can just do an asterisk, and this would be like a catch-all. So let's do that. Let's save. Great. To the auto spacing. What if I declare, I'm just intrigued now that it did the auto spacing for me. So I want to see if it does the auto spacing here. So if I say const loading. So this is stateful management. This is, I'm going to use state the React hook and then set loading just to test something out here. I just want to see if this is going to auto sort out my spaces for me. Use state. And if I save. Okay, no. Okay, cool. Alright, so that's not doing that. That's okay. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to flesh out my about page. So in here, rather than just this div, I'll get rid of that and I'll open up my parentheses. And then within here now, what I want to do is add a div inside of a h1, and in here I'll use some CSS Tailwind classes. So I'll say class name, yep, is equal to, and I'll say text 6XL, which is a Tailwind class. Come on. And MB4, so margin bottom of 4. And then I will close my H1 and just say GitHub Finder. Okay. And then in my home as well, I'll flesh this out a little bit as well. So I'll add my parentheses again, and then in here I will say another div. So I'll have another div tag, and inside this I'll have another H1. Why are they not aligning properly? Like, it's just strange. H1, should I? 7, not 7. Save. So the way that's just not formatting is slightly aggravating, but anyway, doesn't matter. So class name, well, it does really, but look, I'm not going to worry about it right now. So here we're going to have text 6XL as well, so 6 times extra large, and then we'll say welcome in here. Perfect. And if I save that, okay, cool. So what we have added to the about page is just got from the GitHub repo. So I'll go to the GitHub repository, Brad's GitHub repository, and I'll take the about page for this project, and it's just some text, some information, and nothing major, but it saves us typing it out, and it shows you how you would go about this as well, because this is what we have been recommended to do. So now if we go into our search bar here and go to GitHub repository, Brad Traversy, great, first one that came up. So I'll just get rid of the feedback app and just go to Brad Traversy, his profile. Okay, great. So here we should be able to go. Okay, so now his page is just loading. Just pulling up my socks because my ankles are cold. We're in Ireland here. It's chilly as always. I got a blanket on. Yeah, I'm wrapped up, guys. I am wrapped up. So we'll go to repositories here. Hope wherever you are that you are hopefully keeping yourself well. So we'll go here, up here to our search, and I want to look for GitHub. And yesterday I looked for something in this, and it's not the GitHub Finder, it's the GitHub Finder app. So we'll come into the GitHub Finder app. We'll come down. Excuse me, yawning on the screen. So then we'll come to our pages. So we're just traversing through the repository here. I'm going to go to our about, and then this is what we're going to rob. So we're going to rob everything. So we'll just copy the whole text that was in the about. It saves us typing this out, and we will pass it into our about page. So I'm going to just leave the H1 GitHub Finder because it's already there, and save. And this should be tabbed in. Why are you not formatting for me anymore? What's going on? Do you not like me at your door? Okay, so I don't know why it's not auto formatting, but we won't worry about it apart from sing a quick song about it. That's alright. So I'll just come here and go to localhost and let's see what we can see. So we still haven't got anything hooked up just yet, so I think I'll just continue in the hopes that we just still haven't hooked everything up, because we have not. So let me open up my, just keep still on that though. Let me open up my more tools and my developer tools, see what's going on in the town. Excuse me guys, so yes, I don't know what's going on there, but for the time being I'm going to just continue. I'll open up my terminal and finish what we're doing at least. So problems, I just have these 3 problems that it doesn't know about Tailwind, but we had them yesterday and it was working anyway. Okay. Let's just finish fleshing out what we're doing. So we're here in a not found page. So not found, and in here we want to add a div. So we'll add a div here. Okay. So here we will add a div and close it off and come inside here and then add a message. So I'll do a div with the class of text center and hero dash content and max width LG and then text 8L font bold and MB8, and in here we're just going to say oops. So we're adding in Daisy UI classes and Tailwind classes here. So okay, and then so we have our text center hero content max width LG text 8XL font bold and MB8 okay with the text oops. This should be within a H1 tag. This should be H1. And then underneath this we want a paragraph with the class name of text 5XL and MB8. And we want the message here to say 404 not found, page not found. And we'll also add in a link with a class name of button primary and button LG. Perfect, and we'll close that off. Great. And for the link you need to add your to prop, so where you want it to go. So we'll just say to, and we want to go to the home page. So we'll do to and a / there. So within the link here I'll add an icon, so FA home. And we can add some properties here as well. So I'll add a class name. And do margin right to, and then add the text saying back to home. So then we'll also say back to home for our link. Back to home. Perfect, and save. Cool. So now we should have the shell of our application done. If mine would ever load, our terminal doesn't say anything, our console doesn't say anything, nothing says nothing, but that's okay. So I feel like I definitely introduced this error late yesterday, and so we'll have to fix this error, but I don't think that that's what it is. I mean, I didn't even do much yet, you know. So these are my changes from this morning. Let's have a look at what was pushed up to GitHub and just sort of try and inspect the code that's already there and see if we can see what could be causing this. So we'll open up our new terminal, and I'll also just fix that error because we should really do that, and at least we can cross that off the list then, even though I have a very strong feeling it has nothing to do with whatever's gone wrong here. So we'll just do git, although we have no other indication, so solving it, I mean we should solve it anyway, but solving it is a good idea. So I'm just going to git push the code. Did it work last time? Link is not defined and FA home is not defined. So in our not found component we have a few errors here. Cool. Great, that's what we want. So yes, we need to declare a few bits up here. So we need to declare link and FA home. So we just import these. So we can import link from React Router DOM. And we can also import FA home from React icons /FA. And save. And let's go back to our terminal and see what's going on now. Cool, so that's compiled. Did it say FA home not found? I think maybe I need to put it into parentheses, you know. So now, and save. Cool, so that's telling us we have compiled successfully. So I'll just click on our link here and see what happens, and open up our terminal at the same time. So more tools, developer tools. Have to figure out why it's been so slow or what's going on here. So I think we'll have to look into these problems, and perhaps this is causing something to happen. So let's have a look into these. Okay guys, so I just pulled up the changes that have been made in this push and just see if anything strange is going on. And I also found some documents, some Stack Overflow articles, sorry, on the tailwind issue we were facing. So nothing seems too weird just yet. Our app.js. Okay, so I'll keep looking through this now in a moment. And make sure we're not doing anything wacky here, because our page isn't loading for us. So title, are we passing through a title when we're using navbar? Surely that error should come up, but are we? So if I go to my app.js here, let's have a little look. So I'll just open the file rather than open the difference. And navbar, okay, so we don't have a title, so that definitely is, we want that. So I'll add a title here and just say title equals navbar, and this should be a string, and then it's going to get picked up by the props. So I'll just say this is my navbar title, my navbar title. So it's expecting a string. We set that up yesterday. We set up prop types and we told it what type we wanted this prop to be, our title prop, and we said we wanted it to be a string. So I'm passing through a string here. I'll save that, and then we'll go and have a look at these tailwind issues as well. So that's still not loading. Okay, I wasn't expecting it to just load all of a sudden, but still we solved one solution. We are expecting a title prop, so I needed to add that title prop in anyway. So now let's just see what Visual Studio Code is saying. I mean, Stack Overflow is saying about this error that we have. Tailwind adds the @tailwind CSS rule, which is flagged as unknown. How can I avoid this error? Yes. Actually, it seems that this @rule is only used by the Tailwind tooling. If you use VS Code, you can use Post CSS Language Support plugin. Make sure you associate your SCSS files with Post CSS. Okay, cool. So this is in an Angular application and this worked like a charm. So what about for React? Let's type in React when we also search for this. I think it's going to be something very similar. So in our settings.json, which should be the same actually. So we'll go to our settings.json and we'll add this in settings.json. So when they said settings.json, I was thinking of my overall settings. Let's just search for the same issue in a React application, just to make sure we're not barking up the wrong tree. I'll copy this at the end here, paste it in here, and type React. And I also want to open up this other Stack Overflow answer, because someone said, what about this? So yeah, what about that? So React, and search. And let's see this other example that someone pointed us towards. So yes, how do you get rid of your Tailwind? At the root level of your project, update or create a dir VS Code with a file settings.json. Okay. This is in a Redux application. Okay, so I think this still might work. So we're going to come here to our root project and create a file .vs code. So let's do that. So up here, well, the root of this project, yep, is here. So in here I will add a new folder, not in our source, I just want it at the root. So new folder, and we will say .vs code, and in here we want a new file, and this is going to be called settings.json. Okay, and then in this settings.json file we need to add these following settings. Copy and paste. So we're just saying CSS validate is false, less validate is false, and SCSS validate is false. So I don't really know if I want to like just not validate things, which seems to be what this is saying, like, oh, don't worry about that. But yes, our error has gone away. We don't have any problems in our workspace. And are we loading is the bigger question. So let's come back here to our terminal. We've since fixed another issue where we are now passing through a prop. So let's come back to our terminal, scroll to the bottom, and just make sure that this is still successfully building, which it says it is. So I'll get rid of our other terminal windows here. We don't need them, so I'll just delete and delete. And let's restart our server here, just to see whether or not perhaps this file needs to be included. Maybe we need to restart our server. Sometimes that happens with some files. So just in case, we'll restart our server altogether. So we'll just do npm start again. And just fire that up. So I just typed in npm start. If I come over here, you'll be able to see it. Or maybe not, but I just typed in npm start, and we're just starting up our server again, our development server. Okay guys, so I fired back up my server here, and still we have an error, which I do not know. So now it's just about combing the code and seeing what's wrong here, because we don't have any errors shown in our terminal or somewhere else. You know, we don't have any errors showing up in our console, in our terminal. So we just have to really go through the code now and see, are we doing something mental? So in our app.js, let's see what's going on here. So in our app.js, rather than returning all this, for the time being, I'm just going to return a h1, because I wonder whether it's something got to do with React Router DOM, because my experience in this has been a little bit dodgy so far, because it's version 5 and 6, and I only really got used to it in the middle of, you know, both of these versions, so was a bit confused by it. So I'll just say hello instead, and then if we get our page, we know we can work on this component. So that's how we'll sort of whittle this down here now. So again, I'll just open up my developer tools. More tools, dev tools. I did try and use the shortcut, but sometimes it just doesn't do anything. So yeah, so we just have some unused usings there. So if we go to our terminal, we should see some problems now, just warning us of this. And if not, I'm suspicious. I am suspicious. What else could it be? Am I in the right folder? Here we go, it's compiling. It's including the Daisy UI components. Okay, we have some warnings as expected. Okay, grand. So at least we can see that much, you know, we're in the right project, it's picking up on the right thing here, because for some reason we're just not getting anything. So I'll comment out all of these for the moment and save again, just because we don't need any of these imports at the moment, because all we are going to display now is just a H1. So, and this should compile successfully. We shouldn't have any other errors. Okay, it appears that we don't, so I'll open up our local host where we already have it open. And the page has gone black, so that's good. As far as I'm concerned, it at least changed colour. So it looks like the problem could have been with React Router DOM. But let's not speak too soon. Let's continue to whittle this down, so I can say with confidence that that's the problem, the issue that we are facing here. So let's just see what else we had on our homepage here. So maybe we'll also leave our navbar, because we know that this should be okay. So I'll cut and paste my navbar in here, removing the comments and removing the comments on that particular import, just so hopefully, now we should still see the word hello, but at the moment we just see a blank screen. So now we have a component that should display and the word hello. So let's see what happens now when this loads. And patience, guys, patience is key. I start running off and doing other things because I'm just eager to get to the bottom of it. But really, if you don't just wait and see whether or not your change was relevant, well, then you're not really properly debugging things. But I just get excited and run ahead of myself. So I'm telling you of the things that I do wrong to encourage you not to do them and rethink, how could I do this better? And I guess when things are slightly habitual, you know, it's about being aware and breaking those cycles and taking your time. Like, I just need to wait here. Do you know, I just need to wait and see what happens here. But I'm so tempted to stop the reloading, to start it again. I'm very tempted to do loads of things. So by informing you of the things that I think I could improve on, hopefully you can go, do you know what, she's right. Like, God, I wouldn't do that. I'll just wait. Because clearly clicking around isn't going to help you solve anything right now. So, okay. We have our opening and our closing tag. We have our navbar. We have a hello. So our navbar probably shouldn't be within our H1. So I'll cut it out of there. I'll add a fragment. And close the fragment. And in here I'll put our navbar. And then within there, underneath, I'll put our H1, because that just makes more sense. And we have two problems, so that's good, although I think they're going to be related to this. Okay. So now this should be okay, yeah. Let's just let me tab these in. Things are going very slow. Okay. And now our problems have gone. Okay, so it was just in relation to whatever we were doing there. Well, just not properly moving things around for a minute. So now if I open this up, our terminal, and just make sure nothing has gone awry in the meantime, and then we'll go and check our browser, because I have a feeling that's just still loading by the sound of my computer. So we'll scroll right to the bottom here. So it was telling us that navbar was defined but never used, but we since fixed that. We did use it, so it's still compiling. Okay, and let's see what happens as a result of it compiling here. Okay, compiled successfully, great. Okay, so if we come back to our browser, and let's just stop and reload, are we indeed compiling successfully? Do we see a navbar? Is it going to stop loading? The big question for the day. Why is this just loading? Right. Right, so I know there's patience, and then there's what's going on patience. See, I start losing my patience. But I can hear that my computer is like finding this computation difficult for some reason. Let me make sure there's nothing open unnecessarily, which Spotify is, but that's the only thing, so I'll just close that. Free up any space I can, because it sounds like it's having a hard time doing this, slightly. What I feel like doing is doing an npm install, making sure all of our packages are okay, because this just doesn't make any sense to me. Well, just not yet, until I find the solution, you know. These things can happen. You just need to try and think, what could it be? I don't know why I went to npm install, but seeing as I did, I'm going to do it, because maybe there was some sort of intuitive guidance there. And then we've solved our tailwind problem. Again, not really the way I'd like. We just said we don't want to check any of that stuff, but that was the answer we found on Stack Overflow. So okay, and it did work, so we'll leave it there for the moment, seeing as it got rid of the error, and we'll just do an npm install and make sure that all our packages are okay. So here, just want to do that so you can see what I'm doing here. We'll do an npm install to install all of our packages, and just make sure that that goes okay, and then we'll do an npm serve if everything is okay, and see what's going on. And while we're here, let's just check back through our code what we were looking at. and make sure we don't notice anything weird here, you know. So import React, FA GitHub from React icons, FA link, prop types, navbar title. We have our closing parentheses down there. We're just taking in the title prop, yes. Okay. Neutral content, container MX auto, div class flex none, inline peer2 text 3XL, link to, well, the links now should be hooked up to the router. As far as I know, they go hand in hand. So without the browser router, well, we're just importing link here, so it still shouldn't break it. Div class name flex1 px2 mx2. We have another link, some classes, another link and some classes. Okay. I know here I'm switching between single and double quotes, but that also shouldn't make a difference. I mean, it would be better to stick to one, you know what I mean, just for convention, but audit fix. Some were auto-populated and some were wrote by me, and I just used the single because my finger is closest to that button. So we'll do our npm auto fix, then we'll fire up our server and see if we can see what's going wrong here. So cool, so now I'll just run npm start to fire up our server again, and we'll just see if we can see what's going on, and if not, I'll have a little look around in the meantime, and when I come back for tomorrow's lesson we'll have a bit more of an idea, and hopefully I do that, because I have a really busy evening. I have to study, I have to do a few different bits, but I don't want to come back and just be still messing around like this. I'd like to come back and say, okay guys, I went off, I had a look, this is the change I made, show you the change breaking, and then show you the change fixed. Okay. Okay, so that's loading up there. Okay guys, so considering I'm at a loss of what to do other than just comb through the code and try and figure out what I did wrong between yesterday and today, because this happened at the end of yesterday and I just sort of thought, oh, it'll come back. Yeah, so I'll have to do some digging around the code and I'll come back to you with the answer, or else we'll just continue tomorrow, but I'd like to come back with a bit of an indication as to what's gone wrong. So look guys, thank you so much for having a look at me, Lily Code, doing some coding on day 91. I really, really appreciate it. I wish you all the best of luck. Hope you have a fantastic day, and sending my love your way. So thanks so much, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you like watching my little old head bobble around explaining code. It means the world to me. So have a lovely day, guys. Thanks a mil. Bye.